The night was quiet, but the city was not asleep. Cars still moved on the wide streets. Lights blinked on tall buildings, and the air carried a mix of smoke and silence. Mr. Keller walked alone. He was a rich man, the owner of a huge company. He had power, he had money, and he had respect. But deep inside, he had one problem. He trusted no one. His black shoes clicked on the stone path as he walked toward his car. He liked to move without guards sometimes. He thought it made him feel free. But tonight was different. Tonight, something strange was waiting for him. At the corner of the dark alley, he saw her. A girl, small, thin, and glowing in a way no normal person could glow. Her eyes shone like two silver lamps. Her skin looked pale, almost like moonlight was painted on her body. She stood still, watching him, not afraid. Mr. Keller stopped. His first thought was, is this a trick? Is she lost? But then she spoke. Her voice was soft, almost like music, but heavy with warning. Someone is robbing from you, she said. Mr. Keller froze. What? He asked, trying to sound angry, but his voice was shaking. The girl did not move. Her silver eyes looked right into him as if she could see all his secrets. They take from you every night. You trust them. You smile at them. But they cut you slowly, piece by piece, and soon you will lose everything. Mr. Keller felt a cold wave run down his back. He wanted to shout at her, but his tongue was heavy. He wanted to call his guards, but his phone slipped in his hand. Who are you? He demanded. The girl tilted her head. Her hair moved like thin threads of light. I am not your enemy. I came to warn you. You are blind, but I can see. Someone close to you is a thief. If you do not act, tomorrow you will be empty. Her words were sharp. They cut deeper than any knife. Mr. Keller stepped forward. He tried to touch her shoulder, but the moment his hand moved, her body shimmered like water hit by light. For a second he thought he was touching air. Wait, he shouted. Tell me who. Tell me the name. The girl shook her head. You must decide. You must choose who deserves your trust. I only show the danger. The rest is yours. And then she was gone. Not like someone running away. Not like someone hiding in the shadows. She vanished like smoke fading into the night. Mr. Keller was left alone in the alley, his heart racing. He turned in every direction, but there was no trace of her. Was she real? Was she a ghost? Or maybe some trick made by his enemies? He stood still for a long time. The city noise around him felt far away, like he was trapped in another world. His mind repeated her words again and again. Someone is robbing from you. Someone close. He reached his car and sat inside. The leather seat felt cold. He pressed his fingers on the wheel, trying to calm himself, but his pulse was wild. Ridiculous, he whispered. I don't believe this. This is nonsense. But he remembered the numbers from the last week. Money missing from the accounts. Strange delays in his shipments. People whispering when he entered the room. Was it possible? Could she be right? The car engine roared to life, but his thoughts were louder. He tried to think of each person he knew, his managers, his friends, even his family. Could one of them betray him? The girl's face burned in his memory. Those glowing eyes. That voice, soft but filled with warning. When he reached his mansion, he walked inside with heavy steps. The guards opened the door. The servants bowed, but he barely looked at them. He climbed to his private room and closed the door. Inside, he stood in front of the mirror. His reflection looked strong, proud, powerful. But in his eyes, he saw fear. He whispered to himself, someone is robbing me. But who? His chest was tight. His mind was restless. He wanted answers, but there were none. The night passed slowly. Every sound in the house made him suspicious. Every face that came to his mind felt dangerous. He could not sleep. He could not escape the girl's warning. And as the sun rose the next morning, he made a decision. He would not wait. He would not search. He would not ask questions. If someone close was robbing him, then no one was safe. He decided. He would fire them all. Morning sunlight touched the tall windows of Mr. Keller's mansion, but inside the rooms darkness still ruled. Heavy curtains blocked the light, and silence filled the hallways. Mr. Keller sat in his study, his face pale, his eyes red from a night without sleep. The alien girl's warning echoed again and again inside his head. Someone is robbing from you. Someone close. He could not stop hearing it. Even when he tried to think of numbers, of business, of meetings, the voice returned, soft but sharp like a blade. He had trusted his staff for years. His managers, his accountants, his advisors, all had worked under him for so long. He paid them well. He rewarded loyalty. But what if the girl was right? What if one of them was smiling in front of him while stabbing him in the back? He opened his laptop and searched through reports. His eyes moved fast, but his heart moved faster. There were gaps, strange gaps. Accounts where money slipped out, small at first, then bigger. Shipments that were late, but no one explained why. Deals that lost millions, but no one told him the truth. Was it simple error or theft? He slammed the laptop shut. The sound echoed like a gunshot in the empty study. No, he whispered. It is not error. It is betrayal. He stood and walked to the window. Outside, the garden looked peaceful. Servants trimmed the grass, guards walked in circles, and the fountain splashed water in the morning air. But to Mr. Keller, everything looked poisoned. Every servant could be a thief. Every guard could be a spy. His mind grew darker with every thought. He called for his butler. The man came quickly, bowing. "Yes, sir?" Mr. Keller stared at him. The butler's hands trembled slightly as he held a notebook. Was that fear or guilt? "Nothing," Keller said coldly. "Leave me." The butler bowed again and left. Mr. Keller's suspicion grew like a fire. He remembered the alien girl's glowing eyes. She had not told him a name. She had not given proof. But maybe that was the point. Maybe she wanted him to open his own eyes, to see the truth himself. By noon, his heart could no longer carry the weight. He called for a full meeting. Every manager, every leader of his company was summoned to the big conference hall. They came, confused, whispering among themselves. Some carried papers, others laptops, ready for business as usual. None of them knew what storm was about to break. Mr. Keller entered slowly, his footsteps heavy, his eyes cold. The hall went silent. He looked at each face, men and women who had worked with him for years. Some smiled nervously, some avoided his eyes. To him, every smile looked false, every silence looked dangerous. "You sit here," he said slowly, his voice like ice, "because I trusted you." The room stayed silent. "For years, I gave you power. For years, I let you run my empire, and now I see the truth." Confused looks spread across the table. A manager cleared his throat. "Sir, what truth?" "What happened?" Mr. Keller's hand slammed the table. "You steal from me," he shouted. His voice echoed through the room like thunder. "You smile in my face and cut me behind my back. You think I do not see? You think I am blind?" Gasps filled the room. One woman shook her head quickly. "Sir, no, we would never—" Silence. Keller roared. His eyes burned with rage and fear. "I will not wait to find the guilty one. I will not play games. You are all guilty, every one of you." The room fell into stunned silence. Then he spoke the words that would change everything. "You are all fired." The managers looked at each other in shock. Some begged, some argued, some tried to explain. But Mr. Keller did not listen. His mind was a storm, and the alien girl's warning was the lightning inside it. "Get out," he said coldly. "Leave this building today. You will never work under my name again." Security entered, pushing the staff toward the doors. The sound of protest, of crying, of anger filled the hall. But Mr. Keller only stood there, silent, watching them go. One by one, his empire collapsed before his eyes. People who had built his company, people who had given their lives to his work, now walked away in shame and confusion. When the last person left, the hall was empty. The silence returned heavy and sharp. Mr. Keller stood alone in the giant room. His chest was tight, but his mind felt clear. He whispered to himself, "It is done. They cannot rob me now. I have cut the poison out." But as he walked back to his office, a shadow of doubt crept into his mind. What if he had been wrong? What if the thief was still there, hiding in a face he had not fired? Or worse, what if the thief was never among them at all? The alien girl's words returned again, haunting him like a curse. "Someone close is robbing from you. Soon you will be empty." And for the first time in his powerful life, Mr. Keller felt something he had never felt before. Fear. The grand mansion stood quiet that evening, but silence did not bring peace. Inside his private study, Mr. Keller sat alone, his desk covered with torn papers and broken pens. The floor was littered with documents he had thrown in anger. His empire was now empty. His halls, once full of voices and footsteps, now echoed with nothing but the creak of doors and the hum of the air system. He had done it. He had fired them all. Every manager, every worker who once ran his company was gone. At first, the decision made him feel powerful. He had cut away the sickness. He had removed the traitors. No one could rob him now, but the longer he sat in the silence, the weaker that feeling became. The alien girl's words whispered in his head again. Someone is robbing from you. Someone close. If they were all gone, why did he not feel safe? Why did the air around him still feel heavy, as if unseen eyes were watching? He leaned back in his chair, closing his eyes. His mind replayed the looks on their faces, the shock, the fear, the confusion. Some had begged. Some had cried. Could they all have been acting? Could every single one of them truly be guilty? Or had he destroyed his empire with his own hands? A knock came at the door. Sharp, polite, but heavy with hesitation. "Enter," Mr. Keller said coldly. The butler walked in holding a tray with coffee. His hands trembled slightly, the silver cup rattling against the plate. Keller's eyes narrowed. He watched the butler's every movement, the way his fingers shook, the way his eyes avoided direct contact. Was this guilt? Was this fear of being caught? "Leave it," Keller said. His voice was flat, without emotion. The butler set the tray on the desk and stepped back. "Sir, if I may, go." The old man bowed quickly and left, his footsteps fading down the hallway. Mr. Keller stared at the coffee for a long time. He didn't touch it. What if it was poisoned? What if this was how the thief planned to finish him? He pushed the tray aside. His paranoia grew sharper, more violent. His mind no longer worked in straight lines. Every detail twisted into a threat. The missing money, the vanishing data, the strange failures in his business, all of it became evidence. The alien girl's warning had cracked something inside him, and now suspicion poured out like floodwater. By midnight, he stood in his private vault. The heavy steel door groaned as it opened, revealing stacks of gold, jewels, and hard drives filled with secrets. This was his empire now. Not people, not workers, only wealth. Only what he could touch with his own hands, but even here, in the cold glow of the vault lights, he felt unsafe. His eyes darted to the cameras in the corners, to the shadows between shelves. What if the thief is not human? He whispered to himself. What if it is something else? The thought chilled him. He remembered the alien girl, her glowing eyes, her voice that felt both human and not. She had warned him. She had guided him. But why? Why help him? Maybe she was the thief. Maybe this was her plan all along. Break his trust, destroy his company, leave him alone and weak. He gripped a bar of gold tightly in his hand, his knuckles white. "No," he growled. "No one will take from me, not them. Not her." And then he made his extreme decision. If humans could not be trusted, then he would trust no one. He would lock himself away with his wealth. He would guard his empire alone. He would rebuild with his own hands, brick by brick, without liars, without thieves. He closed the vault door, the lock clicking like the sound of a prison gate. From that moment on, Mr. Keller stopped speaking to his servants. He fired the guards one by one. He removed his advisors, cut all calls, shut down the company's offices. The mansion became a fortress with only one master, him. The world outside whispered rumors. People said Mr. Keller had gone mad. News channels showed pictures of the empty skyscrapers he once owned. His empire was rotting, but he did not care. He sat alone in the vault, surrounded by riches, his eyes sharp, his ears tuned to every sound. For days he ate little, slept less. Every creak in the floor made his heart race. Every flicker of the light felt like a signal. He was alone, but he was not free. And then, on the fourth night, as he sat in the vault staring at the cameras, the screen flickered. For a second, the image of the glowing-eyed girl appeared on the monitor. Her lips moved, but no sound came. Keller stumbled back, his chest tight. "No, no!" The screen went black again. His hands shook as he whispered into the empty air. "Who are you? Why are you doing this to me?" But the silence gave no answer. Only the echo of his own voice filled the vault. And deep inside, a fear stronger than ever grew inside him. The feeling that the real thief had not yet been revealed. The mansion had grown into a silent tomb. Days blurred into nights, and Mr. Keller wandered through his halls like a prisoner pacing a cell. Dust collected on the stair rails, curtains stayed shut, and whole rooms remained locked. He had chased away everyone. Guards, servants, advisors, gone. His once living empire was now nothing but stone. gold and shadows, but even in this silence, he was not at peace. Each night when the world outside quieted, the same fear returned, the glowing-eyed girl. He had seen her on the camera just for a second. The image burned into his mind. Was it real, a glitch? Or was she inside his house, moving through walls like a ghost? On the 7th night, he got his answer. It was past midnight. Mr. Keller sat in his vault, the air cold and still. His eyes were heavy from lack of sleep, but he dared not close them. In front of him, the security monitor showed empty rooms one after another. Hallways, kitchens, staircases, silent and deserted. Then one screen flickered. The east hallway camera crackled with static. A shape appeared. A small figure, glowing faintly, walking slowly toward the vault. Keller's breath caught in his throat. He leaned closer. The silver eyes returned. The alien girl. But this time she was not whispering from shadows. She was inside his mansion, walking straight toward him. Keller's heart pounded. He grabbed the pistol he kept under the desk, his hands shaking. "No," he muttered. "Not again. You don't belong here." The screen flickered again, static, then nothing. All cameras went black. The vault lights flickered too. The hum of the air system died. Silence swallowed the room. And then a voice. "You cannot hide from truth, Keller." He spun around. She was standing behind him. The same pale skin, the same silver eyes glowing softly in the dark. Her thin figure almost looked fragile, but her presence filled the whole vault like a storm. Keller raised the gun, his finger tight on the trigger. "Stay back," he shouted. "Tell me who you are. Why are you haunting me?" The girl tilted her head. Her lips curled into a faint smile, but her eyes held no warmth. "I warned you once," she said softly. "I told you someone was robbing you." "And what did you do?" "You burned your own house. You cut off your own hands." Her words stabbed deep. Keller's breath was uneven. I removed them all. Every thief, every traitor." The girl shook her head slowly. Her glowing hair shifted like strands of light in water. "No, Keller. The thief is still here. The one who takes from you is not gone." Keller's grip on the gun tightened. His voice cracked. "Who? Tell me who." Her silver eyes pierced into him. "Do you really want the truth? Can your mind survive it?" The vault felt colder. Keller's body shook, his thoughts spinning. "Yes," he screamed. "I want the name." "Tell me now." The girl stepped closer. The glow from her body painted the steel walls in silver. She leaned in, whispering as if sharing a secret with the night itself. "It was never your staff," she said. "It was never your friends. The thief is closer than you imagine, closer than your shadow." Keller's chest tightened. His hand trembled, the gun shaking in his grip. "What do you mean? Closer than my shadow?" The girl's eyes darkened, the glow fading into something sharper, something almost dangerous. "Your empire was never taken by human hands. The one who robs you is not from this world." Keller froze. His throat dried. "Not human?" She nodded slowly. "You built your wealth on machines, on codes, on numbers you do not see. And through those numbers, something entered. Something old. Something hungry. It hides in your walls, in your wires, in the silence of your house. It feeds every time you blink. Every time you breathe." Keller staggered back, hitting the vault wall. No, that's impossible." The girl took another step closer. "You fired your people, but you did not fire the thing that feeds. It grows stronger now, and soon it will not only take your gold, it will take you." His eyes widened. His voice was barely a whisper. "Me?" She nodded. "Your mind, your will, your very life." Keller's legs gave way and he sank into his chair. The gun slipped from his hand, clattering on the floor. For a moment, silence ruled again. The girl's glowing eyes watched him, waiting, judging. Then she spoke, her tone softer but sharper than any blade. "You cannot fight this alone. If you wish to survive, you must trust me. I am the only one who can see it. The only one who can stop it." Keller's heart pounded in his chest. Sweat ran down his face. The alien girl had returned, but not with comfort, not with safety. With a choice, trust her, or fall into the jaws of something far worse. The vault door stayed sealed for hours after the alien girl left. Mr. Keller sat frozen in his chair, his breath shallow, his skin cold. Her words haunted him. "It was never your staff. The thief is not human, it is here. It will take you." He wanted to believe it was a lie, a cruel trick to break his mind. But deep inside, he already knew something was wrong. He had felt it for weeks. Strange gaps in time, missing wealth, odd noises in the mansion's wires. Now he was alone with the silence. But the silence did not stay empty for long. That night, Keller walked through his mansion with a flashlight in hand. Every room looked normal, but every corner felt different, as if the walls were breathing. His ears picked up sounds he had ignored before. Faint clicks in the pipes, static in the wires, whispers in the vents. He stopped at the long east hallway. The lights there flickered softly, even though the power should have been steady. The floor creaked, though no one walked. Keller. The voice was faint, almost like a breath. He spun around, his flashlight beam sweeping the walls, empty. His hands shook. He told himself it was just memory, just stress. But then on the far wall he saw it. A shadow. It was not his. It was thin, wrong. Its head stretched tall, its arms too long. For a moment it stood there, pressed against the wall like paint. Then as the light hit it, it slipped away, vanishing like smoke. Keller's chest tightened. He ran back to the vault, but even the vault no longer felt safe. The cameras flickered, showing quick flashes of shapes moving in the halls. Too fast to catch, too strange to describe. The following day, Keller tested everything. He checked the vault numbers, the hard drives, the gold. At first, everything looked untouched. But then he noticed the patterns. Digital files were rewritten, not erased. A single number missing in one report. A word changed in another. Tiny shifts, almost invisible. But if added together, they were enormous. The thief was not stealing with hands. It was stealing with code. With thought. His gold, too, was wrong. Bars that once weighed the same now felt lighter. When he scratched the surface, flakes fell off. Not gold at all. Perfect copies, but hollow inside. His empire was being eaten alive, slowly and silently. Keller pressed his palms to his face, his mind racing. It's real. She was right. Something is inside my world. That night he tried to sleep. For the first time in weeks, exhaustion dragged him into dreams. But the dreams were worse. He found himself walking through endless halls, each wall covered in wires that pulsed like veins. The wires whispered in voices he knew, his managers, his servants, his family. They all repeated the same words, when we take, we take, we take. At the end of the hall he saw a mirror, but the reflection was not his face. It was something tall and thin, eyes glowing like static screens, mouth stretching too wide. It leaned toward him, whispering, "You are mine." Keller woke with a scream. Sweat soaked his sheets. The clock beside him was blinking, numbers melting into nonsense. And in the corner of the dark room, he swore he saw a figure, a shape that bent unnaturally, watching him, then sliding back into the wall. By the fourth night, Keller could no longer deny it. The thief was real. The thief was inside. He followed the sound of static through the halls deeper into the mansion's service tunnels. Pipes rattled, dust fell, and his flashlight beam cut through thick shadows. At the very end of the tunnel, he found it. The walls were covered in strange marks, burned lines that looked almost like writing. Between the pipes, a black mass pulsed like liquid shadow given life. Thin strands stretched out from it, connecting into wires, into vents, into walls. The thing was alive. It shifted as if it sensed him. A low hum filled the tunnel, not sound but vibration crawling inside his chest. Keller's heart pounded. His throat tightened. His voice cracked into the silence. "What are you?" The black mass rippled. From its surface, two pale lights opened. Eyes, and then the hum spoke. Not with a voice, but through every speaker, every wire, every machine in the house. "We take, we grow, we feed." Keller staggered back, nearly dropping the flashlight. It was no longer a mystery, no longer paranoia. The thief had revealed itself, and it was not only stealing his wealth. It was spreading, like a disease, using his empire as a nest. That night, as he locked himself once more in the vault, the alien girl returned. She appeared not as a stranger now, but like a shadow of light beside him. "You see it now," she whispered. "You cannot fight this alone." Keller looked at her with wide, hollow eyes. His voice was weak, broken. "What is it?" Her silver gaze glowed sharper. "Something older than your kind. Something that moves from world to world, feeding until nothing remains. It has chosen you, and unless you fight with me, it will consume you." Keller's chest rose and fell in ragged breaths. His empire was gone, his sanity cracked, and now he knew the truth. The real thief was not human greed. The real thief was a living shadow, and it wanted not just his riches but his soul. The mansion was no longer a home. It was a battlefield. The walls carried whispers. The lights flickered with every breath the creature took. The air smelled of dust, smoke, and something rotten, something not of this world. Mr. Keller stood in the vault, clutching a flashlight in one hand, a pistol in the other. His eyes were sunken, his body weak, but his mind burned with a desperate fire. The alien girl appeared again, stepping from the silver glow of the walls. She looked calm, but her eyes, those strange bright eyes, held a sharp urgency. "It grows stronger every night," she said. "It is no longer hiding. It will come for you soon." Keller's voice shook. "Why me? Why my house? Why my empire?" She stepped closer. Her presence made the cold room feel even colder. "Because you built more than gold. You built machines, codes, networks. It found a door in your world of numbers. And now it uses you as its host." Keller's throat tightened. "Host?" The girl nodded. "It feeds on human power, human greed. You gave it everything without knowing. But it is not finished. It wants you, your mind, your life. If it takes you, it will spread beyond this mansion, beyond this city, and your world will fall." Keller gripped the gun tighter. "Then how do we stop it?" Her silver eyes glowed brighter. "Together. I can fight it, but only with you. Your will is the key. Without it, I am powerless." The ground trembled. A low hum rolled through the vault, vibrating the walls. The cameras on the monitors flickered, showing distorted shapes slithering through the mansion's halls. Shadows stretched unnaturally, bending and twisting like black roots. "It knows," the girl whispered. "It feels your resistance. It is coming." The vault door rattled violently. A groan of metal echoed as if the steel itself was screaming. Keller's heart hammered. He pointed the gun at the door, but deep inside he knew bullets would mean nothing. The girl raised her hand. Light spread from her palm, glowing brighter, forming a barrier across the door. The rattling slowed, but the pressure on the vault grew heavier. "It cannot be killed with weapons of your kind," she said. "It must be fought with the one thing it cannot steal, your human will." "My will?" Keller muttered, confused. "Yes," she said firmly. "It preys on fear, on greed, on doubt. If you surrender to it, it wins. But if you resist, if you fight, it weakens." The vault shook harder. Cracks spread across the steel walls. Black smoke leaked through, curling like living fingers. Keller staggered back. The air grew thick, hard to breathe. The whispers returned, dozens of voices speaking in unison. "Keller, we take, we feed. We are you!" The smoke poured inside, shaping itself into a tall figure. Eyes like burning coals blinked open in the darkness, staring directly at him. Keller's skin crawled. His mind screamed at him to run, but his body stood frozen. The girl's voice cut through the terror. "Do not look at it with fear. Look at it with anger, with defiance. Remember, you are human. You are not prey." The shadow moved closer, its form shifting, becoming familiar. Keller gasped. It was his face. His own reflection, twisted and stretched, wearing a smile too wide. "You see?" the creature whispered. "We are the same. You fired them all. You trusted no one. You were always alone. We only take what you already gave." Keller's knees shook. Sweat poured down his face. "No," he whispered. "No, I am not you." The shadow leaned closer. "Yes, you built me. You made me strong. Without you, I am nothing. You are mine, Keller." The alien girl stepped forward, her light cutting into the shadow. "Fight it, now. Claim your mind before it consumes you." Keller gritted his teeth. Memories flashed in his head. His empire, his workers, his lost trust, the alien girl's warnings. For weeks he had drowned in fear, but now as the shadow loomed over him, something inside snapped. "I am not yours," he shouted, his voice shaking the room. "You think you own me? You are wrong. I built everything with my hands, with my choices. I may fall, but I will never belong to you." The shadow shrieked, its body tearing like smoke in the wind. The whispers turned into screams. The black form thrashed, trying to press into his chest, but the girl raised both hands, her light blazing brighter than ever. Together, their forces collided. The shadow's hunger against human defiance. Alien light against darkness, the mansion shook violently. Lights burst, windows shattered, and walls cracked as the battle raged. Keller felt the shadow clawing at his mind, trying to pull him down. But he pushed back with every ounce of rage and pride he had left. "I am human," he roared. "And humans do not surrender." The shadow let out one final scream, splitting into shards of smoke, then vanishing into the walls. Silence fell. Keller collapsed to his knees, gasping for air. Sweat drenched his face, his body trembling. The girl knelt beside him, her silver eyes dim but steady. "You see now," she whispered. "You are stronger than you believe. But the fight is not finished. The creature is wounded, not dead. And it will return." Keller's chest heaved. He stared at the broken vault door, the cracked walls, the mansion in ruins. For the first time he understood the truth. This was bigger than his wealth. Bigger than his empire. This was a war, and it had only just begun. The mansion lay in ruins. Cracks split the walls, glass crunched underfoot, and smoke curled from broken wires. The air was heavy, not just with dust, but with the memory of screams. The creature's voice still echoing faintly, like a ghost refusing to leave. Mr. Keller stood in the wreckage, his chest rising and falling with ragged breaths. He was alive, but barely. His empire was gone. His wealth was poisoned, his sanity balanced on the edge of a knife, and yet he had survived. The alien girl stood across from him. Her silver glow was weaker now, dimmer than before, but her eyes still burned with strange fire. "You fought well," she said softly, "but this is not over. The creature is hurt, but it will return stronger, and next time you cannot fight without me." Keller's hand clenched into a fist. His voice cracked. "Why me? Why do you care if I live or die?" Her head tilted, her pale hair shimmering faintly. "Because your fight is not only yours. If the creature consumes you, it spreads. From you, it moves to others. From your empire to your city. From your city to your world. I cannot let that happen." Keller's eyes narrowed. "So I'm just a battlefield to you?" She did not answer. Instead, she stepped closer, her voice low but sharp. "Trust me, Keller. Give me control. Let me inside your mind, and I will burn the creature out forever." His body stiffened. "Inside my mind." Her silver eyes glowed brighter. "Yes, your will is strong, but not enough. With me inside, we can destroy it. Without me, you will fall." Silence hung between them, heavier than the broken walls around them. Keller walked slowly across the vault floor, his boots crunching against shattered glass. His thoughts swirled. For weeks he had trusted no one. His paranoia had destroyed his empire. And now she asked for the one thing he had left, his mind, his freedom. He stopped, turning to face her. "How do I know you are not another thief? That this isn't your plan? Break me down until I beg for you, then take everything." Her face did not change. "You cannot know." "You must choose." Keller's chest tightened. He stared at her glowing form, then at the shadows creeping faintly through the broken walls. He could almost feel the creature breathing, waiting for his weakness. The choice tore at him. Trust her and lose himself, or refuse and be consumed. But then a thought struck him. A thought so sharp it made him smile for the first time in weeks. Humans had one weapon no alien could copy. Not strength. Not light. Cunning. Keller's eyes hardened. He straightened his back, his voice calm but cold. "You want me to let you inside? Fine. I'll give you what you want." The girl's silver eyes brightened. "You decide wisely." She stepped closer, her glow surrounding him like a cold mist. Her hands reached toward his face. "Do not resist. Open your mind." Keller forced himself to stay calm. He let her touch his forehead, let her light seep in. But behind his calm face, his thoughts twisted. "You think you know me, alien? You think you can use me? No. If the creature feeds on fear, then you will feed on lies." He began to build walls inside his head, not with stone, but with imagination. Memories twisted, turning false. Thoughts reshaped, bent into traps. He filled his mind with illusions. Fake doors, endless mirrors, false treasures. The girl's glow spread deeper. For a moment she smiled. Then her face changed. Confusion flickered in her eyes. "What is this?" she whispered. Keller's grin widened. "You want it inside my mind. Welcome. But my mind is not yours to own. My mind is a labyrinth, and if you want power, you'll have to crawl through lies until you choke on them." Her silver light trembled. "You dare deceive me?" "Yes," Keller said coldly. "Because I am human. And deception is our oldest weapon." The room shook. The creature in the walls screamed, sensing the clash of powers. Shadows writhed, reaching for Keller, but the girl's light turned violent, battling both him and the entity at once. Caught between them, Keller held on, forcing his thoughts into endless traps. Twisting truth into lies, the creature roared. The girl shouted, The mansion quaked like a dying beast, and then silence. The light faded. The shadows pulled back. The air cleared. When Keller opened his eyes, he was alone. The girl was gone. The creature was gone. Only ruins remained. For a long time, he stood in the broken vault, breathing slowly. He did not know if he had won or lost. Had the girl been destroyed? Had the creature? Or had both simply been trapped inside the maze of his mind, unable to escape? It did not matter, because one truth remained: he was still here. He was still himself. He walked out of the vault, stepping into the cold dawn. The mansion was broken, his empire shattered, but his eyes burned with something new. Not fear, not greed. Something sharper: defiance. He whispered into the empty air. You tried to steal from me. You both tried. But I am human, and humans do not surrender. The wind carried his words into the rising sun. The battle was over, but the war had only just begun.